So let's take a look. Tonight's topic is, should you buy 2018 American Silver Eagle? Sorry for the initial part where people couldn't hear anything. I think we're back live. Just someone confirm in the comments that you can indeed hear us, and that we're talking about should you buy 2018 American Silver Eagles. Okay. Gold closed today down 12 to 12.22. It had opened the day at around 12.30 and closed down about $8. Same story over with silver. Silver opened up at around 15.55 and closed the day at 15.38. So both a down day for gold and silver. And before we get into should you buy 2018 American Silver Eagles, let's talk about quickly what happened during the day. The Freedom Caucus in Congress voted to impeach and filed papers Rod Rosenstein, the Deputy Attorney General, who is overseeing the Mueller Special Counsel. And Speaker Ryan said he's not in favor of this motion, so I'm not sure how far this will go. There were 11 members who signed on to these impeachment papers for Rod Rosenstein. They believe that he is stonewalling and holding back documents and that impeachment was their only avenue. And they believe that he shouldn't even be overseeing Robert Mueller because he is a witness to all of this Russian collusion stuff because he signed off on one of the FISA warrants. Also, the reason Rod Rosenstein is overseeing Mueller instead of, as the Deputy Attorney General, instead of the Attorney General, Jeff Sessions, is because Jeff Sessions recused himself because he talked to a Russian during the campaign, and therefore Rod Rosenstein is handling this oversight of Bob Mueller. Rod Rosenstein also wrote a memo recommending that Donald Trump fire then FBI Director James Comey, and part of the Mueller investigation that Rod Rosenstein is overseeing involves Trump obstructing justice because he fired James Comey at the direction of Rod Rosenstein. But Jeff Sessions has come out against, as has Paul Ryan, this motion by the Freedom Caucus members in Congress to impeach Rosenstein. And so it doesn't look like this is going to go anywhere, but I mention it because it is on the table. And Jim Jordan, who is one of the congressmen who signed on to impeach Rod Rosenstein, has announced his candidacy if the Republicans should win the House, that he would like to be Speaker of the House and take Paul Ryan's place, who is retiring at the end of this year. So what'll happen in November, depending on who wins the House, if the Republicans retain the House, you can expect they will probably have a more aggressive, more conservative leader of the House that will go after Rod Rosenstein and the special counsel. If the Democrats win the House, a lot of this stuff will just go away. Also today, there was a story in the New York Times from Maggie Haberman, another one of these sources say. This one seemed a little out of bounds. It said that Special Counsel Mueller was looking into Trump's tweets as a basis for obstruction of justice. Now, I find that almost laughable that his tweets would form the basis of obstruction of justice, especially since they've been out there for the longest time. Usually, obstruction of justice is something that happens in secret, not directly on Twitter. Also, the European Central Bank today announced that they are still planning on raising rates at the end of 2019. So the ECB, which started their quantitative easing at the behest of Stanley Fischer, then vice chair of the Fed, in early 2015, shortly after the U.S. Fed stopped its QE, is still doing QE, quantitative easing, still buying corporate bonds, and still has rates at zero and is expected to keep them at that level for more than a year. And they said they are expecting to stop the QE at the end of this year. And one final story, Claire McCaskill, who is a Democrat running for re-election as senator, supposedly, this is just out, that her campaign was hacked by You guessed it, the Russians. And supposedly that they're saying that her campaign was hacked as a result of something Trump said that prompted the Russians to go ahead and hack her campaign. So it seems like they have already placed the markers in the event that the Republicans do win the Congress and Senate again, that there was going to be Russian interference, and this time the Trump administration did nothing to stop it. So if the Democrats win, it'll be because they overcame Russian interference and they've had enough of Trump. But if the Republicans win, it's going to be Trump did nothing to stop the Russians, and you can bet that they're going to say that's why he met with Putin to discuss further interference with the elections in 2018. In fact, they called off the Trump-Putin summit that was supposed to happen later this year until after the elections, and I suppose that's for appearance sake. All right, now before we get to our topic, should you buy 2018 American Silver Eagles? We're going to have a message about mugs, and in this message we add number 12 reasons to buy and hoard mugs. Ten reasons why you should buy a Smaulgld mug. Reasons to buy and hoard mugs. Number 1. Mugs have been used for drinking for more than 5,000 years. Number 2. They are finding more uses for mugs every day. Number 3. We could not live our lives without mugs. Number 4. The Russians and Chinese are buying mugs hand over fist. Number 5. Mugs are made in China. Number 6. Mugs are hard assets. Number 7. Mugs are real wealth. Number 8. Mugs cannot go to zero. Number 9. Mugs are portable. Number 10. Mugs are drinking vessels, period. Wait, there is more. You can mix Mountain House in a mug. You can carry your barter silver in a mug. You can do many things with mugs that you cannot do with fiat currencies. Measure your wealth in mugs. They have mugs at the offices of JP Morgan and central banks. That is all you need to know. When the excrement hits the fan, you'll want to have your Smaulgld mug close by. Buy your Smaulgld mugs today. Reasons to buy and hoard mugs. Number 11. You can stack mugs. As you can see here, mugs are stackable. Add to your mug stack today. Buy a Smaulgld mug. Reasons to buy and hoard mugs. Number 12. You can put coffee in a mug. As you can see here, someone very clever has done so. Buy a Smaulgld mug today. Well, if you didn't have enough reason, there's 12 reasons now to buy and hoard mugs. You can buy a Smaulgld mug at the link I just provided at smaulgld.com. Also, you can visit the Smaulgld store and buy Smaulgld related or branded items like corkscrews and pens and notepads and t-shirts and hats and other types of mugs. So please check out the Smaulgld store as well. One final thing before we get to should you buy 2018 American Silver Eagles, there was some news in cryptos today just in. The SEC denied the Winklevoss plans to put together a ETF. Now, what's important to note in this is the reason that they declined it was the same reason they declined it last time. In order for them to, quote, protect investors, they need to make sure that the exchanges on which the underlying assets are traded they can monitor whether there's manipulation or other types of fraudulent activities through surveillance, exchange programs. They don't have that with the exchanges, and I think this is all leading up to, I don't think they'll approve an ETF until they approve a couple of U.S. exchanges like Coinbase as alternative trading programs when they feel that they have a direct relationship and oversight over a trading platform in the United States, or maybe they'll eventually get oversight over a platform outside the U.S. But for now, they have denied the application, and that did drive cryptocurrencies down after the announcement. They had been going up on the idea that somehow an ETF was going to help cryptocurrencies, and currently the cryptos had drifted back. Bitcoin had drifted below 8,300 and then 8,200, and right now it's at about 7,900. Bitcoin Cash 802, Ethereum 862, 462, and Litecoin 8336. Now the other thing before we move on to should you buy 2018 American Silver Eagles, the SEC did note it is disapproving this proposed rule change, which would have allowed the Bitcoin ETF, and the commission emphasizes that its disapproval does not rest on an evaluation of whether Bitcoin or blockchain technology more generally has utility or value as an innovation or an investment. So they declined this on the basis that they can't monitor whether there is fraud. So this ties into my theory that the United States regulatory bodies want to grab control over as much of the crypto space as they can through regulation, through ETFs, and through futures and derivatives, whatever they can do. And right now they're not going to approve the ETF because they don't have that type of oversight yet. All right, yes, Matty D waiting for a pullback to buy my mugs. Yep, you want to get that ratio down, and then you'll be all in with mugs. You're going to go all in on mugs because there's at least 12 reasons to buy and hoard mugs that you've got, and there's going to be plenty more. We'll give one each and every night on the Smaulgld broadcast that we do every night at 8 o'clock here on YouTube. All right, now if you guys would like, the best thing to do is if you're looking at your screen, you can see a graphic, and that graphic is what we're going to use to go through today the why you should or maybe should not buy American Silver Eagles. If you can't see it, I would ask you to click on the link I just put, and I can walk you through that way. All right, the reason I mention this, whether you should buy 2018 American Silver Eagles, I got a question last night, and I thought I'd do a whole show on this, and I have already done the background work. And you can make your decision after, and you can ask questions after I go through the pricing. For those of you who don't know, American Silver Eagles are priced higher than just about any other bullion coin. In fact, for coins that are just considered bullion, that are issued by sovereign mints that have no numismatic value, the American Silver Eagle is the most expensive. Part of that reason is not just market demand, but it's the manner in which they sell American Silver Eagles. The structure is that the U.S. Mint does not sell American Silver Eagles directly to people who want to buy them. Nor does the U.S. Mint create the coin or the planchet of silver in order to make the American Silver Eagle. So let's go through one at a time. The way they make the American Silver Eagle is they have contracts with 3 different suppliers. One of them I know happens to be the Sunshine Minting Company. And they send them what's called blanks. They're just round 1-ounce planchets of silver. And they ship them to the U.S. Mint. And then the U.S. Mint then stamps that highly original design that they have every year on the front with the late walking Lady Liberty. And on the back, they slap the eagle on there. And then they change the date every year, and that's about it. The way they sell them is they sell them through a program of authorized purchasers. Now, I did a Freedom of Information Request Act to get who they were, and I've never been able, I've asked a number of different ways, I've never been able to get the names, but I did manage to find a press release where APMEX actually released the names of the people who were selling Gold Eagles and American Silver Eagles when they became an authorized purchaser. So a lot of big names in there. The only one that I know of that you would recognize as a dealer is APMEX. The rest of them are larger companies. There's some banks in there. And what they do is they sell to the authorized purchasers, the American Silver Eagles and the Gold Eagles, but we're going to stick with the American Silver Eagles on this podcast, for a price that is $2 over the spot price of silver, no matter what the price of silver is. So if you are APMEX and you're lucky enough to be an authorized purchaser and the price of silver is $15.36, they will pay from the U.S. Mint $17.36. And then, depending on how much profit APMEX wants to make. They will mark up their allocation and sell them online. But because APMEX is an authorized purchaser, they can also then sell some of their allocation to SD Bullion, BGASC, Money Metals Exchange, JM Bullion, Gainesville Coins, all the other dealers. Those dealers may also buy, and I don't know where they get their coins from, but those companies that I just mentioned, from what I know, are not authorized purchasers. So they have to buy their American Silver Eagles to sell to you from an authorized purchaser. And guess what? They don't pay $2 from the authorized purchaser. They're going to have to pay, probably, and I don't know what they pay, but I'm sure that the authorized purchasers don't just on-sell them to the other dealers for $2. I mean, they'd just be doing a favor by doing that. So you have to imagine that all the online bullion dealers or local coin shops are paying at the lowest probably $2.10 over spot, maybe $2.25, and in many cases they might be paying $2.50 depending on how many they're buying over spot. Now let's take a look at that chart that I was talking about. When the price of silver is low and going lower, that $2 minimum charge that the U.S. Mint charges really takes a bite out of the cost or the value in buying silver at a lower price. So if silver is $10 an ounce, which it's not, but if it got to $10 an ounce, the U.S. Mint would still charge per coin $12 or $2 over spot to its authorized purchasers. That would be a 20% right off the top that you would lose. So if silver was $10 and APMEX bought them for $12 each and had a special and sold them to you for $12 each, but the price of silver was $10, you'd already have lost 20%. Now, they're not going to sell them to you for $2. They're probably going to mark them up, $2.25, $2.50, whatever. But let's say they add 50 cents to it and they sell it to you for $10.50. That's up on the left corner. You can see dealer adds in red. Now you're paying 25% over spot when the price is $10 and you're paying $2.50. You're paying $12.50 per coin. That's a big amount to pay. Now the price of silver has to go up dramatically for you to make you get your money back. Continuing through this chart, because we're going to talk about why coins that are not 2018, American Silver Eagle coins, not 2018, might be a better buy, or perhaps rounds are. But let's continue through the chart. Even at $15, which is basically where it is today, $15.55, $15.38, wherever it is, that $2 charge minimum that you're never going to see would amount to a 13%. You see it on the left, dealer adds 50 cents. It ends up being a 16% charge on a brand new Silver Eagle. And I'll just leave the chart up and you can look and see how in the green, that's the price from $10. A $2 premium is 20%. Then you go down to $15. A $2 premium would be 13%. And then in the red, you see how much the dealer might add and how that changes your premium. So in an extreme example, when silver is $10 an ounce, and by the time it gets to a local coin store, the guy's got to make some money. He charges you $12.50 for it. No, he charges you $14.50 for it because he taxes on another $2.50. You're paying almost a 50% premium. You're paying 45%. Now the premium, or the $2 premium that the U.S. Mint charges, is less important as the price goes higher. So let's move all the way over to the final column where it says $35. That $2 premium only ends up being a 5.7% premium. And then if the dealer adds on 50 cents or $1, you're still well under 10%. Even if he adds $1.50 and he charges you $36.50 for the coin, I mean 35, 36, 37, $38.50 for the coin. 35 plus 2 is 37, plus 150 is $38.50. That's 10%. That's not bad. So you can see when you have that $2, you're starting with 1 foot in the ground. You're starting behind, and the lower the price of silver is, the more behind you are, and the further away you are from a large bullion dealer, the more they're going to charge you. So APMEX, though, which is interesting, even though they're an authorized purchaser, they don't have the best prices compared to SD Bullion, BGSC, Money Metals Exchange, Gainesville, any of the others. They just charge more. I guess they figure they can. And so they have the highest margins because they get the coins for the cheapest for $2, and then they sell them. They don't sell them at the lowest price. But why am I asking whether you should buy the 2018s? Well, because there's an alternative. A lot of dealers right now are selling American Silver Eagles in brilliant uncirculated condition pre-2018, and mostly they're selling 2017, 16s, and 15s. Those were years you had decent mintages, a lot of coins out there. Anything before that, there's a certain numismatic value, although it shouldn't be, but there is. So people start to collect 2009s and 8s and 7s and 12s, and they can actually charge more for those than even the 2018s. But the more recently minted coins, they can charge less. And you say, well, how could they possibly charge less? There's that $2 premium. Well, the dealers do not get their Silver Eagles 2017, 16s, and 15s from the mint. They get them in the secondary market. Now, if you type in something like how do I sell my coins to SD Bullion, or sell my coins to Gainesville, or sell my coins to whatever your favorite bullion dealer is, they generally have a page where they will cite to you a price that they will pay for your American Silver Eagles. So, for example, I think SD Bullion says they'll pay $1 or $1.10 over spot for pre-2018 Silver Eagles. So what does that mean? Well, it means then, instead of them paying $2.25 to an authorized purchaser to get a 2018 coin, they're going to buy from you a 2017 coin for only $1 over. So instead of paying $2.25 over spot price, they're only going to pay $1 over spot price, which means they can sell to you a 2017 coin at, let's say, just $2 over spot because they only paid $1 over spot. Whereas the 2018 coins, they themselves already paid $2.25, and now they have to mark it up for you to buy it, and maybe they only mark it up $0.25 and to $2.50 over spot. So they're going to make more money selling to you a 2017 coin that they only paid $1 over spot, or maybe even 50 cents over spot. They can sell it to you for less, and they can make more. So there's really no reason by that math to buy a 2018 American Silver Eagle in brilliant uncirculated condition when you can buy a 2017 American Silver Eagle in brilliant uncirculated condition. The only reason to buy the 2018 is if A, you're a collector and you need to have the most recent coin and you want to have one of each or 10 of each or a roll of each, whatever it is. But if you're strictly buying to have a bullion coin and you're trying to buy the cheapest American Silver Eagle as you can, the most recently dated ones are going to be a better price than the 2018s. Now, the only reason perhaps to buy the 2018 other than for collecting value, let's say you think that, well, if they're not selling a lot of American Silver Eagles in 2018, maybe 2018 will become, quote, a key date. And that it makes sense while no one's buying the 2018 because they're worried about paying an extra 50 cents $1 per coin than they would if they were to climb in and buy the 2017s. Well, you might have something there. Now, so far, through July, the U.S. Mint has sold 7.6 million American Silver Eagles. And they'll probably sell 10 million. That's low, but it's not the lowest. So I think in 1995 they sold 3.6 million, and that's a key date, and that coin has a high premium because it's relatively rare. There might be in the 2018s some added value. Right now you don't pay that much for them, but you do pay less for the 2017s, the 2016s, and the dealers, they can sell you a 2017 for less, and they themselves will make more money, and you will pay less than if you bought the 2018. So let me know what you think. If you look at the chart will tell you what your premiums are on that. And then also, if you go to the link I sent you, I track daily. There's a live chart that updates the American Silver Eagle premiums at APMEX. You could see back in 2015, I started the chart just before the big run-up. I sensed something was happening. At one point, the premiums went up to 50%, and that's because in, I think it was September of 2015, the U.S. Mint ran out of those silver planchets from the Sunshine Minting Company and other companies, and there was just a shortage of American Silver Eagles. If that ever happens again, you just be careful. You probably should never pay 50% unless there's an actual silver shortage, not a bottleneck. That was a bottleneck in the production of American Silver Eagles, and that's the same period of time when the Perth Mint, who makes their own planchets, introduced that Australian silver kangaroo coin. And that became a big seller. They sold 3.6 million when the U.S. Mint and Canadian Mint had run out of silver products. So if you go over to that link, I'll put it up again. You can track the premiums. The premiums generally don't change. I will give you a tip. The only time the premiums changed recently is at the end of the year. If you want to buy a 2018 coin, whether it's an Eagle Gold or an Eagle Silver, buy it before November. Because what happens at the end of the year, generally they don't have that many left of they're preparing to bring in the next year's mintage, and they jack up the prices. And you can see that more in the gold. It's hard to tell here, but you kind of can see it. Look at 2000. If you're on that page I just linked you to, if you go to that page and then you open up the I'll try to explain if you can't do that. If you go to the American Silver Eagle page, you'll see that at the end of the year in 2017 and 2018, you see a rise in the premium. And that's because they're running out of that year's coins. They're not going to order more from the mint. And they're not getting many resold back to them because people just bought them that year. So if you're going to buy, you're a collector and you want that year's coin, buy it now or buy it before the end of the year. All things considered equal. I mean, if you buy it now and then the price goes to $10 in December, you're better off buying it in December. But generally, you'll see the premiums are higher at the end of the year. And then you see they drop back down because what happens is in January, it always drops. You can see how it goes down in January through the middle of the year. They stock up. They buy large amounts in January, and then they run off the inventory, and they have specials. So the time to buy Silver Eagles is earlier in the year. But now the time to buy, not the 2018, well, it's time to buy 2018, but the time to buy predated coins, pre-2018, is now because you can get a better deal on the 17s than you can on the 18s. All right, I hope that was clear. If not, you shoot me an email. But let's take a look at some of the comments. Yes, apologies in the beginning. Could not hear anything. Got a couple hello. Silver Wolverine, good to see you. De La Ville, hello. And neither of them could hear anything. But thank you for letting me know, because I would have babbled on for the first half hour and not realized it. All right, I have 2 tubes of 2018 Eagles. And again, if you collect, if you collect every year and you want to have a tube or 2 of every year, then you're not harmed by doing so. If your goal is just to have as much silver as possible and you want the Eagle because it's recognizable, it's easy to resell, that's why people buy Eagles. If you want the cheapest silver possible, you don't buy any Eagles. You buy generic rounds and bars, and you buy those big door stops that I've seen. They, though, when you go to resell them, they sell often for under spot price. So there's generally a premium of at least 50 cents that you get on an American silver eagle, even though you might have paid $2 or $3 over spot, you generally get at least spot when you resell an eagle. Oftentimes you don't. And again, if you do a Google search, sell, I think it's sell to SD Bullion or sell to JM Bullion or sell to Atmos, they'll show you the prices that they're paying, and you'll see they're paying less for 2017s and 16s, and they're probably even paying less now for 2018s because they're probably not bothering to buy them from the mint. All right. When silver gets to $10, I think it'll be hard to sell a 10-ounce bar, but a silver eagle will be liquid. Just my thoughts. Yeah, I mean, well, it depends on why it's $10. If it's $10 and there's a feeding frenzy of people trying to pick up silver at $10, then anything will go. And in fact, I don't think you would get a premium that much on the eagle because silver was $10 if you go back to the chart. And why would you pay $12, $2 over spot for an eagle, 20%? You'd basically be losing the value of having silver at $10 if you try to get $12 for it. Why would they buy it for 12 when they could buy a big bar for 10? So I think it works the other way around, Sharky. I think that the lower the price goes, the less likely you are to recoup any premium on an eagle. But then when the price goes higher, sure, you want to make sure if you're going to pay $35 an ounce for silver, you want the silver eagle, and so what? I'll pay $37 for an eagle because I know it's the best silver I can get. It's the most recognizable. It's a U.S. Mint legal tender coin. IMO, max metal for the money in the form of bars is best choice. And every time, bit of fractional stuff staffed away. Everybody has their own different views on what's the best to buy. I didn't want to get into junk silver or fractional rounds or generic rounds or maple, all the different kinds you have. I just wanted to focus on whether you should buy the 2018 when you can get the 2017, 16s, 15s for a lower price. And the question is there really any difference between a 2017 or a 2016 and a 2018 other than the date? And I think the only reason you'd buy the 2018, aside from collecting, would be if you thought that they really weren't going to sell that many 2018s and that there would be a premium in future years on the 2018s. But so far, 7 million, if they do sell 10 million, it will be one of the lowest mintages. Let me pull up, I keep a chart of that. It will be one of the lowest mintages, not ever, but the lowest mintage since probably 2007. American Silver Eagles 2017 Smaulgld. We'll see what that looks like. So I can only guess what, I have the numbers here, what we'll end up with in 2018. But I don't think it'll be so low that it'll have some type of numismatic value add to it. But let's just see. So it takes a while to load up this page here. Let me go to, I have a 30-year chart. All right. You know what? I'll give you the link here too so you can check it out if you'd like. You can go to they keep track of all the mints. Yeah, so 2015 is never going to be a rare coin. It was 47 million. 2017 was 18 million. You can see if you're on that page that I just linked to you, since 2010 is basically everything's been over 30 million other than last year, which was 18 million. You got to go back to 2006 and 7, and then basically everything was around 9 or 10 million for about 8 or 9 years. The only years where there's a real premium is 1996, 97, when they only sold 3 or 4 million. So I think we'll probably sell 10 million to 2008, so there's probably not going to be a premium, and therefore that would lead me to believe you would go with the 2017s for the lower price from the dealer. All right, let's see what other questions we have. Cash flow by ATBs. Now the ATBs this year, oddly enough, are selling. They sold 30,000 of each of the first 3 issuances of those, and I think they're the best looking ones this ever in the 12-year history of the not 12 years, since 2010, 8-year history. They sold 30,000 of the Pictured Rocks, 30,000 of the Apostle Islands, and 30,000 of the Voyageurs National Park. A lot of lakes, a lot of water in this year's ATBs. those coins, they sell for a little more than the American Silver Eagle per ounce over spot, but not much more. And they've had high premiums in the past. In a sense, they are mini mintages. I think the most they ever sold was 125,000, and that was in the, I think it was the 2010s. If you go to Smaulgld, I have all the charts on the ATBs. Do some type of search for America the Beautiful Smaulgld. But the America the Beautiful coins do have a high premium. Not many people are interested in them, which is interesting. They don't really sell, you know, that much, but they do have a big resale on the in the secondary market. I think the most expensive one is, I think they only sold like 20,000 of it. It was a Hawaiian volcano. But recently they've been selling low volumes. I think last year they only sold 20,000 of the Frederick Douglass. Yeah, so the ATBs, I guess if you collect that kind of stuff, they're good because they are they're considered bullion, but they have some extra value, I think, because they don't make that many of them. But then again, it's a 5-ounce coin. You know, it's a big coin, and you got to lug it around if you want to sell it. Harmony, the Smaulgld mug section sounds like he's rapping. You know what that comes from? That's the, you know, it came, I started half mocking a lot of the echo chamber stuff I would hear about silver shortage and COMEX default and gold back yuan. And I started doing that, you know, the robot voices that you hear. It drives me nuts. You see a great headline on a YouTube, and then you hear, Rod Rosenstein today dropped a bomb. And I'm like, I'm not listening to this. So I started talking like that simply by accident. All right. I'm late. My local coin shop is selling Maples $1 over spot for 100 quantity. Hope we see a dip tomorrow. Is he selling $1 over spot for new 2018, or is that a pre-2018? Because the same would apply. The reason that the older ones are cheaper now is because people are selling them back to the dealers at prices close to spot so that the dealer doesn't have to charge $2 or $3 over spot to make money. All right, database DNA, the Smaulgld mug works until it doesn't. That's another one they always say. They say the debt doesn't matter until it does. I wonder if there'll be speculator market for Smaulgld mugs. I'm telling you, those mugs, I'm looking at them now, I have boxes of them. They just... The secondary market trading on eBay must be enormous. I haven't checked. But those are mini muggages. There's so much you can do with them. People are finding out new uses for these mugs all the time. And I would think you'd want to get one. Why not just buy ETFs like gold and SLV instead of mess around with the physical? Well, if you are buying for profit, just fiat profit, as that chart shows, Serby, buying physical metal is a big time loser. Especially if you buy at $10 and you buy a coin at $2 or $2.50 or $3 over spot, you're down 30%. So you'd have to hope silver does skyrocket. So yes, if you're looking to make 10%, and that's a nice gain in a year, you're not going to make it if you buy Silver Eagles at $10 and you pay $3 over spot. You're kind of hosed. You need like a 50% gain to make your 10% gain. So yes, if you're just looking to make fiat profits, trading vehicles like ETFs, SLV, and GLD, that's if you think the price is going to go up and you want to make money, fiat money, with the lowest possible cost fee and without having to run around and find someone to buy them, weigh them, assay them, clearly you don't buy the physical. The reason that people buy the physical is because they're storing it for longer term reasons. They're not looking to sell, buy at $12 and sell at $14. So it's a different reason to buy the physical. The reason that people buy the physical, I'm told, is that if there is a case where the bank shut down and your ETF is not available, or there's some hanky-panky at the ETFs, then the price of the physical really will go higher and you'll have it in your hand. That is the rationale for buying and paying that premium. But yes, if you're just looking for price exposure, you don't buy Silver Eagles. even at the lower price, you're still behind the 8 ball in terms of making an immediate profit. But if you're going to give them to your kids, you're going to hold them for 10 years, you're going to hold them because you think there's an imminent event, then that's why you have the physical. Otherwise, there's far better places to trade money than to try to make the blips from silver from 1555 to 1588. That means nothing to you when that happens when you're holding a Silver Eagle coin. You're not going to make any money on that. Right, and then you don't have to, you don't have to worry about safe, storage, loss, theft, resell. Also, you know, when you have physical metal and the price goes up, let's say it's one day, you may not be around to go and bring it to where you need to sell it, whereas you can always, with a click of the mouse, sell your SLV GLD share. So that is a factor in whether you buy one or the other. Kevin Fulop, when silver became high demand, Eagles will fetch you a nice premium and generic won't, according to Chris Duane. Well, that was kind of what I was saying with the when silver goes lower, the premiums on the Eagles are going to be non-existent because you're taking away you're losing 20% if you have to pay $12 for it when the price of silver is 10. The higher the price goes, the more people don't care as much about a small premium because it's only a small single-digit percentage when you pay $2 or $3 over. But I think if the price goes ballistic, I don't think it matters what you have as long as the people buying it can make sure that it's silver. Then if the price is $150, they'll take a beat-up bar as long as they can figure out that it's silver. And whether they pay a $150 or $149, and I don't think it matters because it'd be worth a lot of money at that point. Collectors, not bullion. Low mintages since late 14. Max mintages 2025. I think you're talking about the ATB. Yeah, you know, that face value always concerned me. If, let's say, they decided that they wanted to confiscate your coins, and they say, okay, well, the American Silver Eagle will give you $1 for that, and then that America the Beautiful, they'll give you 25 cents because that's what it says on it. All right. Eli says, hello all. All right, that about does it. If you want to preserve that chart you see on the screen, or you want to look at it at your leisure, I'll leave the link one more time. You can also track the premiums. There's also on that page, I believe there's a link to the gold premiums. If there's not, you can just type in Smaulgld, American Gold Eagle premiums, and you can check them out there. But that chart is on that page. I think if you right click it, you can open it up and make it bigger too, and you can track your premiums that way. All right, well, thank you very much. If you enjoyed this, please consider shopping at the Smaulgld store. I'll leave you a link there. Please consider becoming a Smaulgld patron. I am now up to, I think, 13 very nice patrons who are very generous with their money. And also you can donate via PayPal as well. Thank you very much indeed, and we'll see you tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. Oh, and by the way, SGT report is back up. For those of you who follow Sean over at SGT. And that was a sad thing, and I'm not sure why that happened. He doesn't know why it happened. And I remember, I've been on that show 3 times. And I remember last night or 2 nights ago, I went to check the shows that I had been on, and they were gone too. They'd been taken down with the channel. But I'm going to leave you a link now. I've been on that show 3 times. If you're interested in hearing how I sound on a other channel, there is the SGT appearances. I was on there 3 times. And if you're interested, I was also on X22 report, I think 6 or 7 times. I'll leave you that link too. And then I'm going to sign off. Here is the SGT link for the appearances there. All right. Well, thank you very much for joining me. If you got any questions, shoot me an email at smaulgld@gmail.com. And here is the X22 link playlist.